All right, so welcome to another deep dive, everybody. And today, today we're going back in time.
Oh,
Yeah, back in time.
love it.
We're diving deep into ancient India.
Always a good time to do that.
Always a good time, especially for, our UPSC listeners out there.
Oh,
This is
absolutely.
going to be right up your alley because we're talking about some discoveries
Yeah.
that are kind of turning what we know about the Iron Age, like, on its head.
Yeah, I mean, it's really shaking things up. It's not just like a little tweak to the timeline.
Yeah.
It's a fundamental shift
Yeah.
in how we understand, the Iron Age in India and really India's place, kind of, in the world.
Globally, yeah.
Yeah.
So we've got these two really interesting articles, one from the Indian Express and one from the Economic Times,
Yeah.
and they're both talking about the same study.
Yeah, fascinating
A
stuff.
really fascinating study.
Yeah.
But before we get to the really kind of mind-blowing discoveries, let's just take a step back for a second, okay? Let's just kind of set the scene, Like, what did we think we knew about the Iron Age before this came along?
Right. So traditionally, when we talk about the Iron Age in India, we're generally looking at a period from around, say, 1500 to 2000 BCE.
Okay, so that's kind of like the ballpark.
Yeah, roughly, give or take a few centuries, And it marks a really significant shift because we're moving from bronze to iron.
Yeah, and it's hard to overstate, right, how big of a deal that was.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, think about it, you've got iron tools, iron weapons.
Yeah, everything changes.
Changes agriculture, changes warfare.
Social structures even.
Like how societies are organized.
Right, everything's impacted.
And for, again, for our UPSC folks out there, this is huge, right?
Absolutely.
Like, you've got to know this stuff.
Essential stuff.
So we've got iron, it's more durable, it's stronger than bronze.
That's more efficient.
And that leads to, just all these changes,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, think about it. You've got iron tools. You can clear land more efficiently. You can farm more effectively.
Yeah, better plows.
Right, deeper tilling.
So what happens? You get more food.
Surplus food.
Surplus food, which means you can have more people.
More people, and they need places to live.
So you get urbanization.
Population growth, you get cities, it's like this domino effect.
Totally, yeah.
One thing leads to another, and before you know it, you've got empires.
Yeah, powerful kingdoms, especially, in the Gangetic Plains, we see them emerging around, say, 800 to 500 BCE.
So this is kind of like the textbook narrative, right?
Right.
This is what we thought we knew.
This is the established timeline.
But then comes this study by Rajan and Sivantham, and they're looking at Tamil Nadu specifically.
Yeah, and this is where things get really interesting.
Yeah, this is where everything gets flipped around.
Because they're finding evidence that suggests the Iron Age in Tamil Nadu started way earlier.
Not just like a little bit earlier?
No, I'm talking like way, way earlier.
Yeah.
Like, how much earlier are we talking about?
Like a millennium earlier?
A whole millennium.
I think, yeah.
So not 1500 BCE.
No.
We're talking back
Push it back
to like 3A345 BCE.
Wow.
So that's a huge difference.
That is a massive difference. And again, UPSC folks, pay attention.
Write this down.
Write this down because,
Yeah.
This is the kind of stuff that can really, make your essays stand out.
Absolutely. Add depth, nuance.
Show that you're not just regurgitating the textbook.
Right. You're thinking critically.
So, okay, let's get into it.
Let's get into the details.
What did they actually find? What's the evidence here?
Well, they looked at a bunch of different archaeological sites across Tamil Nadu very meticulously.
Okay.
And one of the key sites, one that's really kind of at the heart of this, is Sivagalai.
Ukivakala.
Sivagalai, yeah.
Okay.
And what they found there? Well, they found charcoal.
That's
and
chill.
potsherds.
Okay, hold on.
For those of us who aren't, digging up ancient sites every day.
Right, yeah.
How do charcoal and potsherds tell us about iron production?
Okay, so think about it this way. Charcoal, it's a byproduct of smelting. You need intense heat to smelt iron, and charcoal, that's your fuel.
Right, okay.
So if you find charcoal in these contexts, it's a pretty strong indication that iron smelting was happening.
So it's like, I don't know, like finding coal near a factory or something.
Exactly, yeah. It tells you what kind of activity was going on there.
Okay, that makes sense.
And then the potsherds, those are the broken pieces of pottery.
Right.
And analyzing those, that can tell you about the types of kilns and firing techniques that were being used at the time.
Oh, interesting.
And that can be linked back to the sophistication of their iron production.
So it's like you're piecing together this puzzle
Exactly.
from these like little bits of evidence.
It's detective work, yeah.
And you're figuring out like what their technology was like.
Exactly.
Okay, so Sivagalai, charcoal, potsherds.
Right, and these date back to a period between 2953 and 3345 BCE.
Wow.
So we're already talking, well before that traditional 1500 BCE mark.
And this is like solid dating,
Oh,
right?
yeah, this is based on scientific analysis.
Okay. Go for
And there's
it.
more. They also found a paddy sample from Siphagali.
A paddy sample, like rice.
Rice, yeah, and that dates back to 1155 BCE.
Okay, so we've got charcoal, potsherds, and rice all pointing to this earlier Iron Age in Tamil Nadu.
Exactly, it's all adding up.
It's pretty convincing.
It is, and it's not just Siphagali, there are other sites too.
Okay, tell me more.
Well, there's Mela-Dumparai, where they've found samples that date back to 2172 BCE.
So, again, earlier than we thought.
Way earlier, yeah.
So it's consistent across multiple sites.
Exactly, it's a pattern.
A pattern. And this is all in Tamil Nadu.
Specifically, yeah.
Okay, so this is really starting to paint a very different picture
It is.
of the Iron Age in India.
Absolutely.
But I understand there's one more site that's kind of like the cherry on top.
Oh, yeah, this one's really interesting.
Tell me about it.
It's called Kilnamandi, and what they found there is a sarcophagus burial.
A sarcophagus burial.
Yeah.
Wow.
And this dates back to 1692 BCE.
Okay, so sarcophagus, that's like, a stone coffin.
Right, an elaborate burial structure.
Pretty fancy.
Yeah, very sophisticated.
And this is the oldest one they found in Tamil Nadu.
The oldest one, yeah, which is really significant because it tells us something about the societal development that was happening during this early Iron Age.
Okay, but how does, like, a burial connect to ironworking?
Well, think about it. Building something like a sarcophagus, it requires a lot of skill, a lot of craftsmanship.
Yeah, definitely.
And that includes the tools and techniques that they were using.
So you're saying they needed advanced tools to create this kind of burial?
Exactly. And those advanced tools likely came from their mastery of ironworking.
So it's not just about the iron itself.
Right.
It's about what it enabled them to do.
Exactly. Yeah, the societal development, the cultural expression, the ability to create these really intricate and elaborate burials. It all speaks to a level of sophistication that we didn't previously associate with this period.
So we're not just talking about, like, simple tools here.
No.
We're talking about a society that's really advanced.
Exactly, and it's all connected to this early adoption of iron.
Wow, this is incredible.
It is. It's a game changer.
And I'm sure our UPSC listeners are just, like, soaking this all in.
Oh, yeah, this is gold.
Because this is the kind of stuff that can really, like, add a whole new dimension to how you understand ancient India.
Absolutely.
But we've only just scratched the surface.
We've got a lot more to talk about.
Yeah, there's so much more to unpack here. So make sure you join us for part 2 of this deep dive, because we're going to be getting even deeper into this amazing discovery.
Stay tuned. All right, welcome back, everyone. We're picking up right where we left off, diving deeper into this whole Iron Age and Tamil Nadu thing.
Yeah, I'm still kind of reeling from that 345 BCE date,
Yeah, it's mind-blowing, isn't it?
It really is. Like, here we are thinking we had this whole Iron Age thing figured out.
And then, bam, Tamil Nadu throws us a curveball.
A major curveball, right? I mean, we talked about the tools, but it's so much bigger than that.
Oh, absolutely. It's about what those tools enabled. It's about the ripple effect they had on society, on culture, even on trade.
Yeah, it's like a catalyst. It's not just, oh, cool, we have iron now. It's, okay, what can we do with this? How does this change everything?
Precisely. Imagine the impact on agriculture. You've got iron axes. Suddenly you can clear land so much faster, open up new areas for cultivation.
Right. And those iron plows we talked about, better plows, deeper tilling.
Leads to increased crop yields, right? More food, more resources.
Which, of course, leads to a bigger population, more people, bigger settlements, maybe even like early cities starting to pop up.
Exactly. It's all connected. And with larger communities, you start to see specialization, right?
Yeah.
People focusing on different crafts, different trades.
Oh, yeah. You need people to make the iron tools. You need farmers. You need traders to move all those goods around.
Right. Blacksmiths, merchants. The whole system starts to become more complex. You have social hierarchies developing, maybe even early forms of government starting to emerge.
And again, for our UPSC friends out there, this is all super relevant, right?
Oh, for sure. Think about the implications for the development of early Indian civilization. How did ironworking influence social structures? Did it play a role in the rise of powerful chieftains or even early kingdoms?
Yeah, these are the kinds of questions that can really help you deepen your understanding of the period.
Absolutely. And we can even see some of those social hierarchies reflected in that sarcophagus burial we talked about.
That's right, at Kilnamandi. And that really stood out to me. Like, it's such an elaborate burial. you know? It suggests a level of social stratification, a level of centralized authority that we might not have expected to see so early.
Exactly. It indicates a society where some individuals or groups hold more power, more resources than others.
Right. They're able to command the resources and the skilled labor to construct something as sophisticated as a sarcophagus.
It's a powerful symbol of their status.
And all of this social complexity, this economic surplus, it's likely driven, at least in part, by the advancements in ironworking.
Right, it's a feedback loop. Iron leads to better agriculture, which leads to more people, a more complex society, which then reinforces the need for more iron, better tools, more innovation. It just keeps building on itself.
It's fascinating, isn't it, how this one material can completely transform the trajectory of a civilization.
It really is. And this transformation likely wasn't confined to just Tamil Nadu. We need to think about the impact on trade, on their interactions with other regions.
Oh, yeah, that's a great point.
Yeah.
I mean, if they had this advanced ironworking technology, they must have been trading with other parts of India, maybe even further afield.
Exactly. Think about it. Iron was valuable, right? It was stronger, more durable than bronze. Tamil Nadu, with their expertise in iron production, they would have had a huge advantage in trade.
They were probably exporting iron goods, even finished tools and weapons.
Potentially, yeah. It could have had a huge impact on the economic and political landscape of the ancient world.
Right. I mean, who were they trading with? Were they influencing other regions to adopt ironworking? It opens up so many questions.
And it really makes you rethink the relationship between North and South India during this period. Remember, the traditional narrative focuses on the Copper Age in the North, right?
But now we have this parallel Iron Age happening in the South.
Exactly. It completely changes our understanding. We might have had these two distinct technological trajectories unfolding at the same time, possibly even influencing each other through trade and cultural exchange.
Wow, that's a really different way of looking at ancient India. Not just this homogeneous, unified civilization, but different regions developing in different paces, maybe even with different technologies.
Precisely.
Yeah.
And for our UPSC folks listening, this is where you can really start to flex those analytical muscles.
Yeah, don't just take the textbook at face value. Think critically.
Yeah.
Analyze the evidence. Draw your own conclusions.
Exactly. Compare and contrast different regions, different time periods. Think about the connections, the interactions, the flow of ideas and technologies. That's what's going to set you apart in those exams.
It's about seeing the bigger picture, making those connections. And this discovery, it's a perfect example of how history is constantly evaluating.
Right. We thought we knew the story, and then boom, this new evidence throws everything into question.
So we've gone from a local discovery in Tamil Nadu to a potential reevaluation of the entire Iron Age narrative in India. And it's amazing how one piece of the puzzle can have such a ripple effect.
It really is. And it doesn't stop there. This discovery also has implications for our understanding of the Iron Age on a global scale. And that's something we'll explore in the final part of our deep dive.
Welcome back, everyone, for the final part of our deep dive. We've been talking about this incredible discovery in Tamil Nadu.
Yeah, it's shaken things up, hasn't it?
It really has. And, we talked about how it changes our view of the Iron Age in India.
Right, like the whole north-south dynamic, the different trajectories.
Exactly, but it goes even further than that. Right?
Oh, absolutely. It has huge implications globally.
Yeah, this isn't just an Indian story anymore.
No, not at all. This is a global story.
So, how does this Tamil Nadu discovery kind of mess with the whole, worldwide timeline of the Iron Age?
Well, up until now, the traditional narrative puts the Hittites, over in Anatolia as the first to really master ironworking.
Around 1300 BCE, right?
Right, roughly around there. But now we've got evidence from Tamil Nadu pushing that back over 1,000 years.
Over 1,000 years.
At least.
That's a big deal. I mean, that's not just like a minor adjustment, right?
No, this is a fundamental shift. It challenges this whole idea of Europe being the center of technological innovation.
Yeah, like Eurocentric view of history, right?
Exactly. It forces us to consider other possibilities.
Like what?
Well, maybe the Iron Age didn't just start in one place.
Oh, okay. So maybe it emerged independently in different parts of the world.
Exactly, yeah. Or maybe there was this exchange of knowledge, this transfer of technology across vast distances, way earlier than we thought.
Right. We tend to think of the ancient world as being, isolated, but maybe there was more connection than we realize.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, think about it. Trade routes, migration patterns.
Yeah, people were moving around.
Ideas were spreading.
So this discovery kind of opens up this whole new map of the ancient world, right?
Exactly. It's like we're redrawing the map.
And this is where I think our UPSC listeners can really shine.
Oh, yeah, this is their time to shine.
Because it's not just about memorizing dates and names anymore.
No, it's about analysis. It's about critical thinking.
It's about connecting the dots.
Exactly. Looking at these connections, exploring the cultural exchange that might have been happening.
Right, like how did the Iron Age in Tamil Nadu impact other parts of India? How did it influence other civilizations?
Exactly. Those are the kinds of questions you want to be asking.
That's what sets you apart. That's what shows that you're not just repeating what you read in a textbook.
You're thinking for yourself. You're engaging with the material.
You're understanding the complexities of history.
Because history, it's not static, right? No. It's constantly evolving. We're always learning new things, reinterpreting the past.
And this Tamil Nadu discovery, it's a perfect example of that.
Right. It challenges us to rethink our assumptions, to be open to new interpretations.
And who knows what else is out there, right? What other discoveries are waiting to be made?
Oh, I'm sure there's plenty more out there just waiting to be unearthed.
Maybe one of our listeners will be the one to make that next big discovery.
Wouldn't that be something?
That would be amazing. But for now, we want to thank you all for joining us on this incredible deep dive.
Yeah, thanks for listening, everyone.
We've learned so much. We've challenged our assumptions. And hopefully we've sparked your curiosity to learn even more.
And remember, this is just a starting point. There's so much more to explore.
So keep digging, keep researching, and keep those questions coming.
Absolutely. And don't forget to check out the Indian Express and the Economic Times for their coverage of this groundbreaking study.
They've done some fantastic reporting on this.
Really great stuff.
And of course, don't forget to like and subscribe for more deep dives into fascinating topics like this one.
We'll see you next time.